Hi there. In this video I'm going to show you how to find the mean and standard deviation of a frequency distribution. We see here a frequency table and there are 5 variables ranging from 0 up to 4. So these are discrete variables. The variables take on discrete numbers, whole numbers. And there is a frequency attached to each one. So the variable 0 occurs twice, the variable 1 occurs 3 times, and so on. To get the number of pieces of data, you add up the frequencies, and you will find that there are 2 plus 3, 5, plus 5, 10, plus 3 and 2 is 15. So there are 15 pieces of data altogether which have been grouped together into this frequency table. Okay, how do we find the mean and standard deviation of this? Well, let's look at the formula, which is on page 33 of the Formula and Tables book. Here we have the formula from page 33. This formula for the standard deviation from a frequency table is really quite simple when you break it down. Let's write it out again with our question. We saw earlier that the standard deviation was the root mean square deviation. Well, this formula is the exact same. Looking at our root mean square deviation, let's work from right to left. So the deviation is got by x minus mu. So for example, we take a data value x and we subtract the average, the mean. We then square those to get the square deviations. Now for each piece of data it occurs a number of times. That's the frequency. So we need to multiply that by the frequency, and then we add up all of those and divide by the number of pieces of data. The number of pieces of data is the sum of all of the frequencies, which is the sum of f. So in here what we just see is the mean of the squared deviations. Just the average. You just add up all of the squared deviations and divide by the number of them. And then finally we get the square root of that, which gives us the root of the mean squared deviations. In practice, what we're going to do is write out a table. So let's do that. First of all, we need to find mu, the average. So what's mu? Well, we need to add up all of our pieces of data. 0 occurs twice. 1 occurs 3 times. So this is a quick way of adding them all up. Instead of adding 2 plus 2 plus 2 5 times, we just multiply it by 5. And then we add 3 times 3. And 4 occurs twice. And we divide that by the number of numbers, which is the sum of all of the frequencies, and we saw that that was 15. 0 times 2 is 0. 1 times 3 is 3. 2 5s is 10. 3 3s is 9. And 4 2s is 8. Okay, 3 and 10 is 13. Plus 9 is 22. Plus 8 is 30. Divided by 15 is 2. So we have a nice round number for our mu. Mu is equal to 2. Now remember that we use the mean in order to calculate the standard deviation, because we need to calculate each data's deviation from the mean. So now what we'll do is we'll write out a table showing each of our pieces of data and their deviation from the mean. So our table will have in the first column our data, and they are 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. To scroll up here to see all of these. In our next column, I'll put its deviation from the mean. In the next column, I will square those deviations. And finally, because each piece of data occurs a number of times, we will put in the frequency. And finally, the frequency multiplied by squared deviations. We will then add up these and we will divide by the number of pieces of data, which is 15. So first of all, 0. If we take away 2, we get minus 2. 1, if we take away 2, we get minus 1. 2 from 2 is 0. 3 take away 2 is 1. And 4 take away 2 is 2. These are our deviations. Next we'll square our deviations. We get 4, 1, 0, 1 and 4. And these squared deviations there will be a multiple of each. 0 occurs twice, 1 occurred 3 times, 2 occurred 5 times, 3 occurred 3 times, and 4 occurred twice. Those are our frequencies. Now we simply multiply our frequencies by our squared deviations. So having 2 of these deviations, so 2 of these squared deviations is 8, 3 of these ones gives us 3, 5 times that is 0, 3 times 1 is 3, and twice 4 is 8. So we need to add up all of these, and we get 8 and 3 11, and 3 is 14, and 8 is 22. So the sum of all of our squared deviations is 22. We then need to divide by the number of them to get the mean of those squared deviations. So we take 22, divide by 15, and then we get the square root of that. So that's what sigma will be equal to. 22 divided by 15 is 1.46. 1.467 if we give it to 3 decimal places. And then we get the square root of that. And we get that sigma is equal to 1.211. And that's to 3 decimal places. So we have found by hand the mean and the standard deviation of our frequency distribution. In the next video, I'll show you how to get the same results using your calculator.